Okay, let's jump into it. I got total 3 pulled up again. Today's the 16th, it's Thursday, and we're making this move right now. So, like I was showing in that last video, like how big of an area this was. I think my last video was like 3 or 4 days ago, and I talked about we had a chance here earlier this week to get up off this candle. I said it was kind of a big candle, but it had a lower low, and I saw the moving averages rolling up, and sure enough, the next day we get this candle, but the next day they put in this red reversal, um, but it's still above the moving averages. And then yesterday, what they did was they did a little drop pop, and I should have made a video yesterday because this was an extremely bullish candle. They did a drop pop in the moving averages, and we get our little green doji hammer candle. I wish it would have closed a little bit higher to give me a little bit more confidence in some of the longs, but I mean that's as good as it gets. I mean, you're chopping sideways, waiting for the moving averages to catch up. Here's a play right here, kind of a big candle. You get a red reversal. Okay, you get out, and then now you get this candle. Put your stop down here, and then look what happened today. We got a nice move today, and this doesn't paint the whole picture on alts because the meme coin alts went off, and I did have some long, and they made a nice move today, all because I really like this candle. We're coming out of this big pattern that I talked about, and when you come out of a big pattern, you get big moves, especially when you're at the apex of the pattern. I know I've talked about this. Like when you get close to the end down here and you start coming out of a pattern, you get big moves up. If you start falling out of the pattern, you get big moves down. And, I had this drawn as a measured move to where we could get to. And I still think, we'll come down lower, as time goes on. I think this is a temporary pump, a relief rally, And what's even crazy about this is, even with the nice moves today, the stock market has been on absolute fire. I think we had 9 green days in a row, and it was something that hasn't happened in 17 years since 2009. So honestly, this is pretty pathetic, the move we've been getting up, the last couple weeks in crypto. I mean, it's just tough because no one wants to really touch this stuff right now because that 10-10 event, and like ever since then it's been awful trading. Like if we just go look back, like this day right here just ruined so many traders, and I don't know why anybody would want to have trust in crypto when crap like this happens. I mean, we were at all-time highs, and then we're talking a couple days later they nuke everyone down and take everyone's stop losses, they liquidate accounts, and just terrible. And then we've been chopping down for months, 6 months. So it's been a brutal stretch. And even now, like, with the stock market on absolute fire, you're telling me this is all we can get so far? I mean, I'll take the move today. I mean, I'll take a win, but good Lord, like, let's go look at what the stock market is doing. Like there you go. Look at that. Look at this move. So if we measure the bottom of this to the top of where we are, and I think we set a new all-time high today. I mean, there's 15% right there. I mean, it's probably like 16 if we lower it down a little bit, but 16%. Just unbelievable how they saved it here. I mean, you don't usually see this. This is like what crypto used to be. Crypto would get big moves like this, big moves up, big moves down. This is the freaking stock market just on fire. Unbelievable how we were breaking down here and they just save it. So, and look where we're at. Here was the double top we had. So there's the 1 over here, the 2 over here. We're right there right now. Like we're breaking above it just a little bit. So I wonder if we'll get a little bit more of a squeeze. This will be an interesting area to see what happens. We get more of like a triple top, like a 1, 2, 3, and then we collapse here, which, I also have a trend line up here I think we can get to eventually. May take a few weeks, maybe a couple months, but maybe we cool off in here, get like a falling wedge going and then pump up here and then, maybe start to sell off towards the end of the year. That's kind of my guess. But just unbelievable what we've seen from the stock market, and that's just the Nasdaq, but it's on the Russell, S&P, everything is just on fire. Very news driven, but it's just crazy because, look at crypto, it's so choppy. I mean, yeah, it's getting up, but it's like, it's still in a range, and it's just very choppy sideways to up, and it's just not been impressive yet. One thing I did notice just looking is, we were getting up on Bitcoin dominance, and like I didn't like seeing this. I kind of wanted to see Bitcoin dominance collapse, back down in here instead of going on this run, but I don't know if this is kind of a fake out and now they're going to dump it down and we can see a collapse here. I really don't know. Like, we're at the end of all our patterns, so I mean, if we zoom out, like, I don't really know where else you can connect a point to. So, I mean, we busted below it so many times, I can't believe they got up. I mean, we should have been dropping here, but a lot of weird stuff has been happening in the last couple weeks with the market, and it looks like we're starting to get some moves, and I'm hoping, outside of Bitcoin dominance, like, well, hopefully it breaks down, but with regular crypto, like, I'm hoping we start seeing some moves, like, get some big moves up, get some big moves down, none of this chop crap, like, just give me something that's consistent, and honestly, I mean, oh, Bitcoin's actually going to get a pretty decent daily today, too, to play. Bitcoin's got like an inside green candle, and they did kind of a scummy thing with Bitcoin. Unlike the alts, like Bitcoin was weak today initially. Like they overnight, I think they they opened it up here, right here, and they actually dropped it down and took out the low of the previous day. None of really the other alts did that, and they took out the low, so stopped everyone out that was in on this little green doji hammer, and now they're pumping it up. In about 28 minutes, they're going to get a green hammer. They did break the high, and we are at an interesting level here. That's that neckline. We're like right there flirting with it. And we really don't have that much higher I think we can get up to on Bitcoin. Like, I just really don't. Like, I could maybe draw a level here. Connect that point right there, that point, and maybe we wick up. That is what, 79,000 right there. What else can we kind of connect here? I mean, there's really the swings that come up here. It's really not. And then if we zoom out, like, there's nothing else you can really connect. Like, here's the top point. Here's your highest swing here in this chop. So, I mean, I think there's some areas for Bitcoin. And I think this is correlating over here with Bitcoin dominance getting a red. So, I think Bitcoin will be weaker to the upside. So, as Bitcoin goes up, towards that 78, 79K area, that's a smaller percentage move than what I think alts can get. I think alts can still get up a little bit more, jumping around a little bit. But if we go to total 3, here's some swings back here, touch here, touch here, touch here. I mean, we still got a little bit of ways to go on total 3. I think we can get up to this trend line, cool off, and maybe roll over. And I say roll over because just the weeklies and the monthlies are still not right. Like, I think most people are gonna get into this because there's a lot of news coming out, and I can almost kind of predict what's going to happen. Is a lot of these exchange sites are now allowing like crypto users to trade different things and get excited about, and like a lot of exchanges that only do stocks and stuff, and now they're allowing crypto to trade. I saw Twitter was going to allow crypto trading or something like that. Stuff that people are going to get excited about. So they're going to get this pump to FOMO people in, these next few days. And then I think they're going to roll it over and dump it on them, if I had to guess. I mean, you can timestamp this and come back to it, and we'll see if it actually plays out. But if I had a prediction, and it's only because, like I talked about, the monthlies aren't right. Like this is actually setting up, but we still got 14 days, 1 hour. We are getting up off of a green monthly, but it's like it's still kind of bearish looking, and our 3 month closed, and oops, that's the 4 month. 4 months still red, and that closes at the end of this month, so that's not gonna look. Look at this 3 month, like with the moving averages rolling over, like, and look where we're at. Like we're coming up to the moving averages right now on total 3, and here's my alert set right at that yellow trend line coming up. Like this is where the 8 and the 10 are. So I think, and this is the middle part of the 3 month candle, and a lot of times when you get a retracement, that's where you come up to. You get your upper wick before rolling over and coming down, and I've got this area down here where I think we're coming to. I mean we've only had 2 red 3 month candles. Like usually you get 3 or more to the downside before coming back up. I mean the 8 has just crossed the 10, so 3 month doesn't look right. And then here's the 4 month we're about to get. This closes in 14 days. I mean, you got like a red doji, kind of a bigger body candle. It's sitting right at the 8, but it is kind of above the moving averages. So I mean, if they're gonna save this 4 month, they're gonna have to get it to go green by the end of the month, or else if it's red, I still think we're gonna roll down here. I mean, this candle was our topping candle, and then I think we could get another red 4 month down there, which will take us into August. And that was about the time where I think we could find that bottom, down here in August, and maybe possibly roll back up, towards the end of this year. I still think that's possible and still very much in play. Here's the 2 month. 2 months, that's just a continuation candle. Red, this is your red kind of hanging man candle, topping candle. Then you get, continuation candle. Here's a continuation candle. It's not a bottoming candle. We should, see more downside. This is all continuation candles. And the 8 has crossed the 10 here. We haven't even come down to the 20 yet. We haven't broken the low of this candle, and then it's just a tiny little lower wick there. So, I mean, I'm not convinced that we're just getting up and going on a bull run here, just because we had one, nice week of trading long. I think this is a temporary long push to FOMO people in. We had nice daily setups for it. Really nice, dailies out there. I'll show ones that were really nice, and I wish I would have made a video showing this, but oh well. I think it was Jasmine had a nice daily, so let's look at that. And it made a nice move today. It's kind of slow to start its move. Like it was kind of red last night, and I was kind of worried, but like, look at this candle. Like, here's the moving average just chopping. Everything's kind of just chopping sideways, but here come the moving average rolling up. The 8 and the 10 have crossed the 20. The orange and green crossed the blue line. We get this, right here on this day. This was Monday earlier this week. Get this big candle, and it's a really big candle. It's got a lower low, so I mean, it could get up and go off that, but I don't like how big that candle is, so I didn't play it. I did play some other longs, and then sure enough, they start to drop it. They get like an equal high kind of tweezer top sort of pattern, and they start dropping it, and I closed my longs, and they closed the day red. So I was like, well, maybe we could look short. I want to see what the next candle looks like. And then they did a drop pop, and I was like, oh, here we go. They gave us this little drop pop candle. So we get the red day here. Then the next day starts. We keep dropping, and then they pump it up during the day. And I think it was about right in here as they started bringing it up. And I started buying in because I'm like, hey, we could get this green hammer here that could set us up. The moving averages look right. And then sure enough, like, towards the end of the day, I added more size, and I put my stop down here at the bottom of this candle, and I put on some leverage, and I caught a nice move on Jasmine, and I knew we were at like an important, area too. Like I had this pattern drawn. Um, you know, I had a little measured move. Let's see. Oops. So I mean, connect these highs right there to the breakout. So I mean, I still think we can get up a little more on Jasmine, and then maybe chop around, touch this trend line, and then reverse and roll over. So I took profit on this. This was a nice move. I mean, that's what at 5. It's up 5.77% today. These were the three I had. So I had Jasmine, I had Shib, and I had Pepe. And I wish I would have had some of these other memes because some of these, like this, Bohm went up. It was over 33% at one point today. Like that's just insane. Absolutely insane. Just a monster candle. Look at that. Huge pump. And the reason I didn't have Bohm, and I looked through like every crypto I could find, is it didn't have a lower low. I did see the moving averages rolling up, but it didn't have a lower low than this candle. It was dead flat on the bottom, got up. I did see the moving averages rolling up, and I did see that it was coming out of a pattern. And, like I said in any of these videos, like when you're chopping around, like this for so dang long, like just chopping, and you get close to starting getting out of the, your trend lines, your 3 points of contact, usually want 3 or more points, this bottom trend line is really good, so many touches down here. When you start getting to a trend line, whether it's the top or bottom, and you get that right setup, like you get big moves. You get moves out of it, when it sets up right. Turbo was another big mover today, and it's come in a lot since then, let's see. What else do we have? Brett was a mover. Still in its pattern. Like it hit my top trend line I had here. That's nice. Like it hit it pretty nicely. If it can set up in here, we could see a huge squeeze on Brett. Like maybe if it chops around here a few days, gets a candle, and I mean we could see a move. Pengu. I still think has more upside to go. What else? Let's look at people. People. I've always wanted to try and catch along on people because it moves in big percentages, and it was breaking down here. We were falling off a cliff here, and then they just really didn't give us much for a daily. I mean, this is a nice hammer candle. It's a big candle though, and it's above the high of the previous day, which I don't like. I wish it would have been an inside candle, smaller candle, and then I would have played it. Smashing up through trend lines, so who knows? I mean, let's see what level we're at here. I don't know, let's see if we can draw something coming across here. I don't like that. No, I don't like that. But man, look at this. Like, look at all these touches. Like touch up here, touch here, touch here, touch here. We didn't quite make it up there. And now we're back here at this trend line. So like I said, if we can set up in here, maybe we can keep pumping. But, I'm a little bit nervous just because of, like I've talked about, those monthlies don't look right, to keep going higher. But, I mean, we're at a really interesting level. Like, this goes back to January of 2024. Wow. So this is, what, two years in here? Yeah, this is definitely something to watch because this is pretty coiled. There's multiple touches on top and bottom. So, I mean, let's zoom out a little bit. Let's look at this. This is definitely something to watch. This bottom trend line is really good. Touch here, touch in here, touch here. I have this drawn with a bunch of touches. So if we do drop, I think we can come down here, and that would be a heck of a drop. I mean, that would be nuts. Let's just take it from that trend line down there. There's 86%. Like, oh my God. So we connected that point up there to that point. So if we got up, maybe we come up here, sometime 2026, 2027 and roll over. Or maybe we just come down here. Who knows? I mean, right now the bulls are favored, but I really like this pattern. Like, it's getting really tight and coiled down here, and I mean, we still have a lot of October where we could play in here, and you know, or a lot of the rest of this year, and it looks like towards October, you know, it looks like October's the you know kind of the apex of the pennant we have here. But I mean, it could go now if it wants to. Like, it's coiled, very coiled. So this is something to watch. This is a crypto called People. I think it's a meme coin or something. But if the pattern plays and gets it set up, we could see a monster move. I mean, this is 2 years in the making. So I like that. Made an 18% move today. I think it was up a little bit more earlier, but we'll see if they get a setup right here, and if they let the moving averages catch up, and I can show it. Like, it may take a few days, just because it's going to be high above the moving averages right now. But we get to close in about 15 minutes, but maybe we get a red or something, maybe a little reversal, and then maybe another red, and then the moving averages catch up. We get a little drop, pop, green hammer. Maybe sometime, I don't know, sometime next week, somewhere in here, we get another green hammer right here with the moving average call up. I will get in it with some size, because there could be a big move to the upside on People. It's just something to watch. I think it's interesting. So I don't really know what other swings we can find. Let's just see. Maybe this. There's a touch up here. Kind of wicks through it there, but there's a touch there, So maybe we come up here and set up and see what happens. I don't know. I'm just going to leave that there for now, because that's definitely an area of swings to look for, like a level we could come up to. Let's see what's going on. Check my phone real quick. What else did I talk about? So I talked about Jet. Let's look at Pepe. Pepe's a meme. I mean, it was so beat down. I mean, like, this is another example of, like, here you go. This is back in October, 6 months of coiling in here. And we're still in this pattern. So, and I don't know how good this top trend line is. It might be crap, honestly. But I don't know. I don't like that it kind of just does this, like, double wick thing. It may be something like up here too. I may have it drawn 2 different ways. So that way we get those 2 points up there. We'll have 2 different trend lines. But I had a pattern drawn on Pepe, and looked pretty decent down here. So coiled in here, and we get like that red reversal, and then we get this bear trap candle where we get the green inside. Here come the moving averages. I still think Pepe may need to set up better. Actually, sorry, this is the 3-day. Let me go back to the daily. I'm sorry. Here we go. This looks even better. Okay, here's the pattern. Like, come up, coil in here, and then we get this candle. This is a really nice candle. It's not perfect, but it's good enough. They get the red reversal, and here's the bear trap candle. Like, bears think they're going to drop it, and then they pump up, get the hammer, and then squeeze out all the people that had stop losses at the top of these candles. Like, this is really nice. Moving, you get the moving averages, they're below the 20. Now they start to rise up. You get a big move up to pull the moving averages up. Then you start to set up. You get a reversal. You chop, you chop, you chop, you chop. You start to go here out of the pattern, and then they reverse it back down. Then here's your bear trap. Moving averages rolling up. Boom, big move. So, I mean, wasn't the biggest move of the day, but I mean, right there's like 10%. That's huge for one day of trading. A 10% move with some leverage, like, yeah, okay. And so that was one of the ones I played. I mean, you can see as soon as it starts rolling up, and you got your patterns drawn, you got your trend lines. As soon as it starts to break up, it doesn't hurt to get in on these trades and see what you can catch because you can get these big moves, you know. So I mean that's nice. What else? I don't know. I mean the memes did very well today, and um, let's look at Cass. Cass was another one. Um, I mean here's a little formation, you know, earlier back in March, like this was nice, you know, coiled in here, you know, and then you get this like green hammer. I don't even think I played that, but oh my God, that's nice. Wow, I mean, that was nice too. And they actually stopped you out. Got a double green hammer. Like that's wild. What they did right here. Like this was a small candle. I would have played this, put my stop down here. You know, they would have wicked me out. You know, and then come up get another hammer. I would have replayed this candle because this is nice. You know, everything's moving up. You're kind of in the apex of this pennant. You know, you've been chopping in here, and now you're starting to get close down here. And here are your hammers with the moving averages looking right, and then boom, big move. I mean, wow, look at that. And that's what happens. That's why you draw these pennants, and then you know, as soon as you start getting closer and closer, like once you get that correct setup, like you got to try it. You got to give it a shot. Um, I mean, from that hammer all the way up, what is that? 33%. Oh man. And then so, oops, did not mean to do that. Undo that. And then what happens is you get your moves, and then you know you sell off for a while, and you wait for the next pattern to develop. So let's see here. What can I haven't really got an updated drawing on this one yet. Let's see. What can we connect? What does that do? Touch up there. I don't know. That doesn't look right. I don't know. I don't really have a clean setup pattern for it currently. This was nice though, this minute, but I mean, I really like the daily though. I think it was the daily that I really liked on Cass. It's kind of got another double hammer thing, but at least the low on this hammer held. I mean, I really like this hammer. I didn't end up playing it. I played a lot of the meme coins, but I did see it chopping along, the moving average rolling up. Then we get the hammer with the lower low than this candle, like our wick is lower than this one. And it didn't close higher than this candle. Like it stayed slightly below the top wick of this candle, and that's just perfect when the moving averages are so tight in here. So, and it's only I think it's only been up like 3% today. Like this could make a decent move up. Like if it gets going, I may even just put on a tiny bit, you know, because I mean that's a pretty bullish candle. So, and I think we can get up here. I have a trend line drawn. Um, I don't know how good that trend line is. Let's see, let's zoom out to a 3-day. Okay, so there were some swings back here. Kind of a touch in there, some wicks in there. So I think, yeah, I mean, Cass could get back up into this pattern, you know, that it's been in. So it's been chopping. It busted through. Now it came back tested, tried to drop, failed again. So maybe we could see a big move on Cass, like back up into this pattern. You know, set up and then drop, or set up and go, or something. And this trend line. Okay, here we go. Let's look at this. This is kind of a big deal, I think. So this trend line here, coming through, you can see we broke above it. Now we back tested back through it, and now we're starting to come back above it. Yeah, I mean, I think this is a big deal. This trend line that goes back into, well, this is July of 2025. So I mean, what is that, like 9 months ago? 9 months. I don't really have a bottom trend line. Maybe I can figure out one. I don't know. Maybe something like, where would it be? That? That's not too bad. Let me drop this just a little bit lower. A little bit lower, right there. Okay. I mean, there's some play in it there, and you wick below it, and you come back in, you chop. This might be the pattern as close as it gets here. Touch here, um, and then you play around with it in here, little touches. Yeah, so this is gonna drive me nuts. I can change the color. There we go. Now it's matching. So yeah, we could see a big move, and it's at that apex. Like this could really get up in a big way. So Cass is another one to watch. I might even add just a little bit to it. I mean, at the very least, it comes back up, I think, and touches this trend line that goes back to, 2024 of January, so over 2 years ago. I think we could test that again, maybe set up and then, come back into this pattern. Who knows? But yeah, I'm kind of bullish on this. So there's definitely some things out there that are actually pretty bullish right now from a daily, 2-day, 3-day standpoint. I mean, I still think, like I've said, the monthlies and weeklies, the longer term plays are still very bearish looking. But I think there is some money to be made in the short term to the upside. Um, so I mean, I do like that. And that's the 3-day candle. This is the daily. Daily actually still looks nice, even though it's a little bit high above the moving averages. It's not too bad. In fact, I'm gonna, as I'm making the video, I'm gonna put a little long on it, and then see if, let's see, right here to here, that's 13%. I'm good with that. I mean, the little 13% mover. Is it called Cass? I'm just gonna put a small size. Let's see. And there we go. Let's put my stop. So now I put my stop loss in. When I hover over the candle like this, I can look up here. And so the H means it's the high of the candle of the day, where the O is the open, the L is the low, and the C is the current price. So if I hover over it, where it says L, I'm going to put 32.62. So I'm going to put my stop loss as 0.03262. So now I have my stop loss in where if the next candle comes down and takes it out, I'm out of the trade. But I think I like this, how it's been chopping kind of sideways. We're coming out of this pattern. Moving average rolling up. I probably should have played it yesterday. It's already gotten up, but it hasn't gotten up too much. I still think that there's room here to get up. And who knows, maybe see a monster move and just wick through it. Who knows? But I'm going to play that just to have something long. I already took profit on a lot of the meme coins today, so I still think this has potential to maybe go higher. We've got 3 minutes till the close. I did like Bitcoin's daily a little bit. I mean, kinda. I mean, it's a big candle, so I don't know. What is this candle? How big is this candle? I mean, it's not terribly big, 2.8. But it's sitting kind of high above the moving averages. I like things to be like tight. The 8, 10, and the 20, I like it like all close together, and I like the candle to be like in the moving averages, not standing on top of them. I mean, it still could get up here. And the other thing with Bitcoin is I don't think it has a ton of room to get up. It's at this big time trend line. I think if anything, we get a quick wick up and then it sells down pretty quick. So I think Bitcoin would be hard to trade. Plus, I think it'll remain weak. That it's got, you know, that Bitcoin dominance is red today. So it's going to get this red close on Bitcoin dominance. So I don't like Bitcoin as a play long, even though it does have this hammer with the body inside there. So that kind of, deters me away from it. Let's see what total three's looking like here at the close. It's got the big continuation candle. So I think we still should see another day higher. Because this is the type of candle where you just kind of continue up higher on. You don't really reverse usually on typically like candles like these. I mean, it does happen. XRP had a nice day. Got up, continuation style candle, same thing. Had a pretty good candle, but I didn't like how the high of this candle broke the previous day. We did have the bear trap candle, but it just got up too quickly. If it would have closed right here with no wick and got this hammer, I would have been in with pretty good size on it. I mean, it broke out of a pattern and it's getting up. Like, that's what happens. Like, look at that. Look at that pattern I had drawn on XRP. Look at that. Like, we jabbed up through it, but we came back down. We chopped into it. Lots of touches on the bottom. Touch here on top, touch here. Even this, we wicked down to the trend line there, so there's a touch. Touches down here. Like, this is pretty good drawn. And then here we are coming out of the pattern. So, and I've got an upper trend line up here that connects these wicks, an area I think we could see, resistance at. And 15 seconds to the close. Let's just thumb through here, see if we can find any random things that haven't really moved much that could move. ETH, wow. ETH could get a red daily here in 3, 2, 1. Let's see it. Yeah, it looks like ETH ended up red. So, red kind of hangyman candle. Interesting. Sol could get up. It's a big candle. I wonder if there's any small candle cryptos out there. XTC was one I really liked. Actually a lot on the daily because it actually had a green previous day and did a drop pop with the moving averages rolling up. But XTC trades so weird. I don't even like trading it. Like, look what happened today. It got a red hangyman candle. And then this is the type of weird candle that it could pump pretty big off of. Like, it just does weird crap. Like, I don't like trading XTC. It's so choppy and crappy. And when it moves off of the wrong colored candles. Like, I'm sure I could find examples, but XTC is not something I normally like to trade. Especially lately. Like, this is terrible. But, I mean, it's coiled in there, so we could see a big move on XDC. That was a great candle setup. I'm surprised it didn't get up. I'm glad I didn't play it. I was thinking about it. It would have done nothing for me. Too big of a candle on IOTA. But, most of these are continuation candles where they still should see moves up. Here's an area to look for on this. Get up to, connect that swing, this swing. So ZBCN, that's a popular one. This will be something to watch. ZEC got a red daily. Yeah, we'll just try and go through as quickly as we can. That candle's too big to play. XMR got a red daily. Interesting. You can get a little drop pop. Get another green hammer. This would be a good play. Maybe tomorrow. Although the weekend is coming up. A lot of times the market doesn't move too much on weekends, so maybe things kind of chill off for tomorrow. Unless we, get a big move tomorrow for Friday, like probably will cool off a lot during the weekend. I don't like QNT's candle. Moving averages weren't right on that. This actually looks nice. Dogecoin. Dogecoin was another one I thought about playing. I just didn't like the daily candle they gave us yesterday. But I love this pattern. Like, this was like my favorite pattern of all the cryptos. Like, I think that this was like pretty perfect. Like, and sure enough, right at the apex, we're getting up. I just didn't like the daily. I was so frustrated at this daily. Like, I didn't want to play this. It didn't have a lower low than this red reversal. So the bull trap candle, I just didn't like this candle at all. I did like the moving average rolling up, and I did like that we were breaking out of a pattern, but there were so many other cryptos and memes that looked better. It did get a nice move up, but I almost kind of wanted to see this drop today, break the low of the previous day's green candle, and then come back up, get a hammer, And if this would have been like a green hammer with the lower low, it would have been perfect candle. I would have longed it with pretty good size. But they didn't give us that, so they pumped it off of this candle. Not my favorite. Um, so, I mean, anyway, I mean, it's pretty much the same all around. There are some exceptions. Sui, Algo, Ave, just getting up, continuation candle. Velo was below the moving averages and didn't have a lower wick. I didn't like this. I mean, this still looks bearish to me, honestly. I mean, the 8 is rolling above the 10 on the daily, but let's see. This is ARPA at the apex. ARPA could see a big move. Let's look at this. I don't really know how much I love this trend line though. Coil in here, breakdown. I don't know. Maybe it just gets up here, but where will it see resistance? I don't know. Somewhere here. Right here, connect that high to this high. Maybe we get up there. We'll see. But I don't know. We'll look through a few more to see what we like. This was pretty decent. That was People. We already talked about that. Jasmine, Shib, and Pepe. Talked about that. Pengu, Brett. Here's Bonk. I didn't like this. Coming out of a pattern though. Let's see. I don't know. Just big candles. Can't play them. I mean, I can't really just jump into these big candles because, you know, a lot of things can happen, you know, and I don't want to just jump into something like this and put my stop all the way down there. Like, that's a big percentage where I don't want to risk. I like the smaller candle plays to get into. Dash is weak. Dash has already made a pretty big move earlier, I think last week or the week before, and now it's finding weakness. TRX had a decent daily, like this daily right here. I loved. Back on Tuesday, actually, it put in a nice daily. It didn't have a lower low, but I love that it closed flat on top, and the moving averages were there, so it got up a little bit. It got a red hanging man today. This big candle. Maybe it turns into like a cup and handle. Maybe it back tests the trend line, gets up, sets up, and then goes. That's SBX. Cyber already got up right at the close, or right at the open, just shot up and now it's reversing. Interesting. Big candles. That was below the moving averages before it set up. Actually, let's look at that real quick. What was that? ACH. Too big of a candle. I can't play it. This isn't terrible, but it's sitting above the moving averages. This is kind of like the formation I start to like. You know, you get up, and then right in here, you know, you get an inside candle. Then you get another inside candle. And maybe if this drops again and gets another tiny inside candle, maybe I play hyper. But I don't like how high up, you know, today's daily is above the moving average. Like, it's just sitting too high for me to get into. It could go here. Like, these inside candles can lead to big moves, but, you know, sometimes they don't. And we're just a little too high above the moving average for me to like this. But I don't not like this setup. Like, this setup's starting to look pretty nice on hyper. But yeah, this is pretty much the process of going through and looking at the different cryptos out there, and at the end of the day, and seeing if there's anything to play for the next day. Wow, this was crazy. Shot way up and then came all the way back down and closed down here. That's insane. Wow. That's crazy. That sucks for anybody that was trading Saga today. This looks bearish. Wow. This looks like it's about to roll over. Moving averages are starting to roll down. Huh. If this candle breaks its low right here, there's probably a lot of swings down here. If it starts to break, this could roll over and go lower on reindeer. Gala, just a few more. Big candle, I still think it's got longer to go. This is a continuation candle. This is likely going to go higher. Don't really have any swings though. That I don't know. That swing, I don't know. That's not like the greatest swing ever. I would have liked it to connect with this one. You could draw it like this though, and show where it's like breaking through. Like you can connect up here. There you go. Look at that. That point right there, that point, you know, and then we bust up through it. So maybe we back test this trend line setup and then go up there. Gala can see it big. I mean, Gala's been way beat down. Like, let's back out on Gala. I mean, oh my gosh, this is a 2-month. I mean, it was all the way up at what was this? 90 cents. It was at 90 cents. Wow. And now it's, what is this? Is that 2 cents? No, that's not even 2 cents. That's like 1/100th of 2 cents. Like, that's crazy. There, where we're at on Gala. That's a 99.69% drop from its highs to its lows. Oh my God, can you imagine buying up here on Gala and being down 99% on your trade? Oh my Lord. And it just looks like it's just falling off a cliff. Like, this is so super bearish. Like, will it see any relief to the upside just to get a little bit of relief? Like, it is just so beat down. This is crazy. Absolutely crazy. I mean, it's down in the gutter. So, I mean, I think Gala, if it's going to get up, it's got to do it now. Get its relief rally, at least up to that trend line. Like, who knows? I may even just buy a little bit because this is a big level. It goes back to February. I mean, you're breaking a pretty. Here's what I'll do with Gala. If this high gets broken, I'll probably buy some. So I'll set an alert right there so my dotted line comes across. So if this comes up and starts to break it, I'll buy in. And we should see another move up. Also set what I'll do here, since this is a big candle, and this is what I like to do sometimes. Since I have a trend line, you know, and a lot of times what happens when you come out of a trend line, sometimes you will come back and back test them, set up and then go higher. So maybe what I'll do is I'll set an alert around this trend line, where if it comes down here, I will also add into it long. That way I get a better price. So it's either got to break the high and go or come down around this trend line. I'll buy in and I'll put my stop right here at the low of the candle. My stop loss will go right there. And then the moving averages should catch up by then. So yeah, I'll just kind of monitor it and I'll get an alert on my phone and I'll come back and look at it and then I'll see if it looks good to get in and play. But that's kind of how I'll do that on a bigger candle. Like, I don't want to just. And what I'll do is if it does break the high of this candle, like it starts to go, what I'll do is, like, let's say right now it starts to get up, breaks that candle, starts to go, I'll put my stop loss at the bottom of its current daily candle. So if it starts to go and breaks it, you know, cool, I'll see if this low holds and it'll still be a small candle. You know, I don't really have much to lose when it closes up high like this. Like, you know, it's such a small percentage area, you know. And a lot of times it doesn't always hold, but, you know, it could be a high risk, or I guess low risk for a chance at a high reward, potentially. You know, I won't put big size on. I'll never put big size on a candle that's that big. Like, I like the smaller candles, the inside candles, moving averages being really tight. I've talked about a million times. So, I mean, yeah, so just a couple more. This is actually looking good here. kind of like this. This is another setup I like. This is ID. Moving average haven't crossed the 20, but you can tell they're trying. It's coming in right now, probably to grab the 20, maybe or to come down and grab the 8 and the 10, and then maybe get up. And then this is another one where I think if it breaks the high, it could get up. So I'm gonna put an alert on ID right there. Where if this starts to go green, this could go and make a big move. I don't like how they've already cleared out stops though on these previous candles. So it almost seems like there's more to the downside to catch, you know, with all the stop losses down here. It's like they've already cleared it out. So I don't know, maybe not. I probably won't care as much about it as this one, so I'll delete that. I think there's better plays. The moving averages haven't even crossed yet, so I'll probably skip that one. Alice actually looked pretty decent. That's actually pretty good. Maybe I should have played that. I wonder, I think the reason I didn't play it is because the 8 was below the 10 when this candle closed. You can kind of see it down here. The 8 was just ever so slightly below the 10. But, I mean, this looked pretty decent. It would have closed a little bit higher on its body yesterday. I think this would have been a better play, but it was kind of iffy. This is a bigger daily candle, but yeah, anyway, so we're starting to get a little bit of a retrace to start, which I like. I like when you get a bullish day, and then at the very end of it, when the daily closes, you start to get a retrace to get that lower wick. I like when they get that out of the way early and then start to pump it back up. So I hate when they start pumping it like dead flat on the bottom because it always makes me concerned that we're going to come back down to get a lower wick. You know, if they start pumping, like, could they reverse it and come back down? You know, so I like when they start dumping it early after the close, after a bullish day. And then opposite, when it's bearish, I love when they start pumping it to get the upper wick before continuing down on a move. You know, it's like candles like this where you get a red, and then like the next candle you're like dead flat on top, and you start to sell down. Like, it makes me nervous that they would come back up like they did here, take out your stop up here, and then, you know, go higher, switch it. Like, that's why I like having a wick on top of the candle, or on top or on bottom when you're in a move. Just, you know, even if it's a tiny little wick, like this is enough right now where like I'm satisfied where at least we have a little bit lower wick. So if it wants to get up now and go, like, it'll look better. So just a little something. I don't like dead flat candles, you know, being, you know, left behind and before they move. So yeah, we'll see what happens the rest of this week. May make another video on probably Sunday or something. And you can see, yeah, here's Bitcoin starting to come down since the open. Like, maybe come down to the open of this candle and then maybe get up, or maybe come down and then get up again, get another like kind of green hangman, green hammer type candle. We'll see. I don't know how they're going to play this. Like I said, I don't like how high Bitcoin is above the moving averages, but like I said, I still expect us to get to that 77 up to 80,000 level. Like, I think we're going to get that, whether it's in the next day or two or week or two. You know, I think we'll get there, and then maybe that's the top before we roll over. We'll see, but I mean, bulls are in control for now, at least on the daily. So alts look good in the short term, but yeah, I'm keeping that yearly candle in the back of my mind. I know it's super bearish, so I know anything that goes up, you know, probably won't last too long before rolling over. You know, I've been pretty strong on that view all year long, so yeah, we'll just see what happens. We'll go from there. All right, that's it.